Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is December 14th, 2017, and today is Thursday morning. So looking at the economic events of the day, a lot of interest rate decisions coming out. We're starting out at 10:30 South African time. Swiss Franc, okay, which is the Switzerland franc, coming out with a Libor rate. That's an overnight interest rate decision that's coming out at 10:30 South African time. And then we're followed up with the UK official bank rate coming out of for the GBP. Okay, that's going to be at 2 o'clock, and then surely enough, the European minimum bid rate coming out. So those are three major rates that are coming out today, making the markets especially volatile. Okay, especially today. So let's see what happens with those three numbers. And then at 3:30 South African time, ECB press conference to follow up on the minimum bid rate. And then lastly, at 7:25 this evening, we have Bank of Canada Governor Polos will be speaking. But let's see how we fared out with yesterday's FOMC meeting. The dollar got slammed yesterday because of the FOMC meeting. Banks sold off quite sharply in the Dow Jones yesterday. The Dow Jones generally, the market rallied, but the banks actually sold off. Basically, they increased the interest rate, okay, third time of the year, and then they're forecasting that they're going to be increasing the interest rate for next year for the next 3 quarters. So that's a major reversal for the central bank of the United States, the Fed, and this is a quite big turn, okay, because the money supply, that means that they're taking some of the money supply and trying to uplift the dollar with its worth, okay. If they pull out, if they make it more expensive for people to borrow money, people are going to borrow it more cautiously, okay. So that's basically why they do it. Now, how does this affect us? Well, the market really took a turn for the US dollar on the downside. Euro USD, you can see here, rallied above 118. And we mentioned this yesterday that we would have one extreme move, okay? And usually it's very hard to catch it. And then we continued in the move into the direction that we went on. Now we hit a slight bump at 118.40-ish level, as you can see here, and we took a little bit of a booking. So we're at 118.22. At subsequent support, let's see if we hold this line, okay, because this is really important as the European minimum bid rate comes out today. Okay, so a lot happening. So this could be reversed by this afternoon. We could even see ourselves back into this 116 level. So I don't want to say that we will get there, okay, because these numbers come out and sometimes you never are sure how the market's going to react to them. But the reversal to it, the reaction to it, as you can see here, it did sell off right afterwards. Looking at the GBPUSD, which is also having an official bank rate later today, it didn't sell off as sharply. Okay, it's holding its weight at 134.20-ish level. Taking into consideration Brexit, taking into consideration the minimum bid rate coming out today, a lot of indecision as to the direction of the market. So I'd like to see where we're going before we say, okay, we're in a bona fide, uptrend or in a bona fide sell-off. Okay, so really choppy here. Okay, if you're able to really scalp and come in and out at fast intervals, great for you. Okay, this is what that type of market is made for. Looking at gold, gold rallied with the interest rate decision yesterday, jumping from 1230-ish, 39-ish level to 1256. That's a big jump for gold, okay? And we said that this may find itself down in the low 1200s, and this might be just a short covering, okay? As we enter the latter part of the month, tomorrow we're hitting the 15th of the month, and then we're going into Christmas and New Year's, which is generally a rally for the indices. Looking at oil yesterday, we sold off nicely, okay, from 57-ish level, okay, so this week it's back to 56, and we said we're finding ourselves in this new range, and that's exactly what's happening here. Looking at the Dow Jones, all-time highs, okay, the markets are very hot. And even though the interest rates are going up, it's just an indication that the markets are strong, okay? If they're going to make it more cumbersome for people to borrow money, it means that the market is expanding maybe a little bit too much. So if the Fed gets aggressive, and this happened in the 90s, okay, with Alan Greenspan, who was the Fed chairman back then, and it was, it's a different world that we're in, because we were almost at zero interest level for a very long time, and this is a complete correction to it from the early 2000s, from I would say from 2013, 2014 to where we are right now. So markets are really hot. And we could even see this go up to 25,000 before the end of the year. Okay, we're only about 325 points off of 25,000 on the Dow. So that's a major interval for the Dow. However, looking at the JSC, we're in a bona fide sell-off here. Okay, a lot of weakness. We mentioned this several times before. We didn't break up, but when we challenged this 52 200-ish level, we didn't close above it, and we just faltered, and we're trading now at 51,258. Now, this is also in the back of the votes that are coming off over the weekend. Now you'll notice that there was a mailer that went out to all of our deposited clients that there's going to be a leverage change for for people that are trading the JSE and the USD ZAR. Okay, so just take that into consideration. We'll cover this again tomorrow before the actual voting actually happens, just to have a refresher and to decide if you are in some positions. I would actually consider taking that money off the table because you really don't know in which direction it'll go. Okay, looking at the DAX, we sold off with yesterday's news. Okay, so the DAX didn't really respond well to the news yesterday, but let's see if that's actually an anticipation to take this higher today. Okay, with the Euro USD coming out, this might be a really actually a indication that maybe we'll hold this line at 13,000 and bounce off of it. This is Fred Razak. Want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.